Hello, Matt Davis here with more quiz help. This one's from section 5.3. Let's read it through and then give it a try. Consider the experiment where 2 students are chosen without replacement. That's worth highlighting right off the bat. So without replacement means once somebody's chosen, we don't put them back in the pool. We kind of send them out of the room in a way. So 2 students are chosen without replacement from a large lecture course that has 252 students enrolled, and the eye color of the students selected is noted. The eye colors of the students are shown below. Determine the probability that one of the students has blue eyes and the other one has green eyes, and approximate to 4 decimal places. So first of all, in the interest of help but not answers, instead of blue eyes, we're going to do brown. And instead of green eyes, we're going to do gray. All right, so let's look at what they asked. Determine the probability that one of the students has brown eyes and the other has gray eyes. What's really important to notice here is they don't say the first student selected has brown and the second one has gray. They just say one of them has brown and the other has gray. So there's no order mentioned. So let's first of all write that out. Probability of brown, we don't know if that's first or second, and gray, and we don't know if that's first or second. So when you do these problems where you're choosing without replacement and you have an and, you really need to work with an order. But if they don't give you an order, you don't get to just pick one. You have to list all the orders that are possible. So what does that mean here? It means we have to consider the probability that it could have been brown first and gray second, or could have been the other order. It could have been gray first and brown second. They don't say which order it was, so we have to consider both. And then we can jump in and start doing the math. So what's the probability the first person selected has brown eyes? Well, there's 96 students like that out of 252. And then we don't usually write this out, but the second part is, given we just picked somebody with brown eyes, what's the chance we'll now pick one with gray? So if we just pick somebody with brown eyes, and if it's without replacement, we've sent that person out of the room, so now there's only, got rid of my fraction there on accident. So now there's only 251 students left in the room. But because the person we picked and sent out had brown eyes, all the people with gray eyes are still there, so we still have 3 of those. Now that's brown first and gray second, but then we have this or for the other option, and these 2 options are mutually exclusive, so we can just change the or to a plus. They're mutually exclusive because it can't be that the person who was chosen first had brown eyes and gray eyes, so there's no overlap between these 2. And now we just do it in the other order. What's the chance the first person picked had gray eyes? Well, that would be 3 out of 252. Sometimes people say, well, shouldn't that be 250 because you've already picked 2 people and now you're doing a third? But this isn't or. So we're not going on to a third pick. We're saying here's another way this could have gone down. So it could have been that the first person was gray eyes. So if it's the first person, we're back to the full 252. And then we send that person with the gray eyes out of the room and we say, what's the chance we'll get one now with brown eyes? Well, there would be 251 people in the room. Since the person we sent out had gray eyes, all 96 of our brown-eyed folks are still there. So there it is, and now we just need to go to the calculator to come up with a decimal approximation. So let's do that. We can just enter it all at once. So we have 96 divided by 252, and that's times 3 divided by 251. Then we're going to add on to that 3 divided by 252 plus 96 divided by 251. Press enter, and we get our answer. Something I think has gone wrong. Yep, second, enter right here. That was supposed to be times, and I did a plus. So try that again. We get 0.0091. So again, that each fraction is multiplied together in the pairs, and on the first time I entered it in, I did addition instead of subtraction. So that fixes that up, and to 4 decimals we get 0.0091. So 0.0091. So there's our answer. We can slide down here, put that in the answer box. And then just a little talk about where things could go wrong. The most common thing people do wrong here is they just do one of the orders. So they just do brown first and gray second, and they don't think like, oh, wait, they didn't mention the order. I have to do both of them. So that's one thing that can go wrong. As you saw with me, a typo could happen. And actually, the typo I did of putting a plus sign right there, that was my mistake. That's actually not that uncommon for people even with the writing, because they hear the and they do an add. But the ands come from ors that are mutually exclusive. When you're doing these picks without replacement and you're doing an and calculation, it's multiplication between the picks. So I know that. I just typed it wrong. But that is something that sometimes people are confused about as well. So first pick times the second one. Follow along here. So the first one is brown times the second one is gray, or first one is gray times the second one is brown, and then add those two together to make sure that you're getting both orders that are possible. All right, I hope that helps you out. This is a very commonly missed one, so don't feel too bad about it, but we do need to learn from that. If the order's not mentioned, we've got to do all the orders that are possible, and in this case, that's just two possible orders. All right, good luck as you go back to the quiz.